All right, good morning, everyone. Happy Monday, August 25th. Uh-oh, I'm doubling. 1 second. August 25th. Uh-oh, I'm doubling. Got to hear myself say it 3 times. All right, good to see you. Let me go back to the top of the chat just to see how everybody is. Dad, on first this morning. Good to see you, Dad. And Bill, good to see you. Vicky, happy Monday. I see Bill. Dave P. Dave P., I'm very impressed, man. You've been on and up early, so congratulations on that. Really cool. All right, Dave P. Lots of members in this, lots of all access members. Hugh, Rick, Vicky. Awesome, Rick. Good to see you survived your working and working out. Awesome. Very cool. Okay. Yeah, it's great to see you guys. I love how you interact with each other once again. All right, so inside, just a little housekeeping here. The Google Drive is the folder that has the course in there, the one that we're going to go over today, and we're going to go over the 20 tips. And just a reminder to all of my all access members, you guys, I go in and I look this to make sure that you have your links. The link, the master folder link has all of the weeks that we do, right? All the folders, all the files and everything. If for some reason you don't, excuse me, you don't know where your link is, just email me, or text me, whatever, and we'll make sure that you do. For some reason, sometimes the Yahoo addresses don't work, right? And so I try to get you guys to make sure you sign up with a Google address. But anyway, we're going to be changing a lot of this soon, so it'll be a lot easier to get access to everything. But most of you have access to all these. And if you're a member, you're all access member right now, you can click and ask for access, and I'll right away go, oh, so-and-so wants this. But I'm telling you this because you have access to not only this week, but any lesson that you want. Okay, let's why in the world would I do this course on a Monday morning? And this is for everybody. It doesn't matter if you're a member or not. The reason is because these are great things to do when you don't have a lot of time to practice, or maybe you're just getting back into some things. So we're going to use the track this morning, and we're going to make sure we play some blues. But in addition to that, I'm just going to go like rapid fire through these first couple of things. I want everybody to make sure you're using all your fingers, right? It's good to do that. It doesn't matter your age or stage, you need to be working all of the fingers. Now notice that the very first example in here is da-da-da-da-da-da, the first 5 notes of the major scale. Now this is important because it doesn't matter what key you're in. You talk about ear training and getting your fingers going and ear training. Start learning this one pattern. And then you move on to the second one is just this. Now notice that I went up the 5 notes and I turn it around and I go up the rest of the major scale, or the other 5 notes. I go down to the 3rd and go up to the 5th note, and then I come back down. That's the triad. And there are actually jazz songs that use that idea. But somebody put in the chat if you ever tried that, just that second exercise that you have where you go, we'll do it on C. And how different it is just by turning the fingers around. It's a different muscle that's working. It's not just going up and down, which was something we're used to. But anytime you introduce the hand into something a little bit different, then it takes a second for our muscles to kick in, but it's a great thing to practice. So somebody put in the chat if you can agree with that idea that turning around the scale, making variations and things is very helpful for our mind, our muscles, and our ear training. Look at the next one. It's C minor. So even from a jazz context, if I'm playing a jazz blues and I'm doing like, let's say if I was in C and I get to the end of the C blues and I can go, right? I can go, even through the whole thing, I could go. You wouldn't really play like this, but you at least see what you're doing. Right? The next pattern is something we know and we love, that 5-note blues scale. I can play that over the entire blues scale. The blues progression, right? And I'm building up my muscle memory. and my automatic pilot while I'm really working on my left-hand voicings. And 3 and 4. Right? We have that. Okay, the next one is our pentatonic scale. And speaking of Dave's leaving on a plane, what a fun one that is. Example 9. Right, you have 1 flat third, 4, 5, da da da. Dave's leaving on a plane. It's so much slower on the train. They tried to tell him it's the same. All pentatonic. So much. Da, da, da. I tried my best to explain. Dave's leaving on a plane. All minor pentatonic, and a fun thing to get. And even in this first page example, I did just the reminder that even this top half of the blues scale, right? We have the bottom half, first 5 notes. The top half is minor pentatonic. It's got those 4 notes, which is the top half of the blues scale, and you're just using those, and those will work over the entire blues. Now, just for the sake of making sure we practice, we play exercises, but we also want to make sure we're playing music. So we take these ideas, and we're about to go into the Ray Charles things and the other licks. But I just wanted to give a brief introduction, a reminder that we need to be working our fingers. So let me give you some practical examples. Maybe I'm coming in, I haven't played in a couple weeks. I'm going to go up and down and get those fingers moving. And even create some music as I'm thinking. Play a little bit and slate, and then give some space. There's my idea right there. You could do the same thing on F. A minor. F. All right, so let me stop this. There are so many different variations. It's endless. And all I was doing was showing you different things you can do based on the very first sheet of the 20 Tips course. Now, I demonstrated several of those, but I want to also get back to an important thing, is that even though I'm showing you reminders of what to do, the way I really want you to practice this is you pick 1 or 2 of those ideas, and then you spend a lot of time with that. So maybe it's the blues scale, the first 5 notes, and I'm going up and down. I get my automatic pilot going at first, and then I also remember that you can do the 3 half steps down from C because we're in the C blues, and I can do the A blues scale, right? So I can practice that. And you can even go up to the E, but we really want the first 4 notes of the A blues scale. So I'm getting those fingers working, right? Maybe I want to put my left hand voicings with that. Now I'm going to go back to the first example of the blues scale where I go. Imagine if you spent 5 minutes just going over this, of getting those fingers going. And then we say, all right, let me do the top half of the blues scale, which we know work over the entire blues. We go. And we also know, if I spent time up here, remember that trick that whatever key you're playing your blues in, you put your middle finger on that key note, and it gives you the top half of the blues scale with that minor third on top. And this transition finger, our fourth finger getting on F sharp, gets us to the 5-note blues scale again. Again. There it is. All right, and let me just talk about one other thing as we transition into the next. Let me check the chat, see how everybody's doing. Awesome. Bill plays these exercises daily. Hey, Bill, that's music to my ears right there. All right, a couple things related to this book on the first page. I just played a major digital pattern, and somebody put in the chat 1, 2, 3, 5. And I did this on purpose. Is the idea of any chord you're on, you can use 1, 2, 3, 5 of that scale. So C major, we go 1, 2, 3, 5. It's the pentatonic scale, but it doesn't have the 6th note. And the reason this is important is because, like almost everything, you can give variations of it. I could go 1, 2, 3, 5, or I can go ba da da da. I can change it around so many ways, and that's one thing about digital patterns is they're kind of almost meant to be manipulated a little bit. And you can even think in terms of numbers. I could play it 1, 2, 3, 5. I could play it 1, 3, 2, 5. I could play it 1, 5, 3, 2. So lots of different ways. Also, when you get to, and this is measure 13, when you get to a minor, you can do 1, 2, minor, third, 5. And this is important because I just demonstrated fun ways to turn around that one idea. Like I could, as a practice exercise, on each chord, I could go C, 1, 2, 3, 5, 1, 2, 3, 5. Now watch G minor, and go to F sharp. Now watch this. Sometimes I went the pattern up, B major, coming down, up, and down. This is a great way to train your ear and fingers. Now from the top. G minor. I'm doing the pattern backwards. Now minor on D minor. Triplet. Now watch this. I'll do 1, 6, 2, 5. Let me stop it really quickly. We know in our jazz world that we can do a 1, 6, 2, 5 chord progression, which is 1 of C. The 6th note of C is going to be A, and that can be minor or dominant, and then 2, 5. So 1, 6, 2, 5. And in my right hand, I just did 1 C major. Then I went down to A, and I did dominant, so I did major, C sharp, 1, 2, 3, 5. And then here, I could go D minor with the flat third, or I could go major, and then I could go 5. Or I can go minor. I can go minor. So a lot of different ways to play this first sheet. All right, let's skip on down to something else, and we check the chat, see how everybody's doing. All right, Vicky gets it. All right, so as I'm going down this sheet, the second page has our most familiar lick right here, right? This idea. And if you saw the short that I did this morning, you'll see that there are just tons of ways to play this one lick. And imagine if you played these variations in all keys or several different keys, you're going to feel really good about your playing. So if I do this lick right here, remember it's a minor third to major third, and it goes to the 4 chord of the key in second inversion. So C to F. There's my F triad in second inversion, my favorite inversion. And then I go up to the C7 and I get my fingers up there, G to B flat. So I demonstrated in the short, and you might want to go watch that short. It's actually quite popular this morning on my channel. is just showing you different ways to turn around this one lick. You can go up, you can start at the top and come down, you can go halfway up, you can start halfway down, you can go up and come back down like that. You can also go to the minor third, which gives you a nice thing. You can actually do that on F, which gives it a little pentatonic kind of sound. Also, this is sort of related to this, but actually go to the tritone and do one of our bluesy Ray Charles kind of licks, right? So you can put all of those together and really make some awesome music by doing that. Let's actually turn on the track. And remember, this is all written out, like it shows you exactly what to play, and then you can make it your own. This is written out for solo piano right now. And before I turn the track, I just want to remind you guys that when we talk about, you don't have a lot of time to practice, spend 5 minutes at first, use a timer, and practice the first sheet where you pick 1 or 2 ideas and you practice that. Then it's time to make some music, and maybe you're doing solo piano, so you get used to this, and then maybe push yourself to go to F and do the same thing, because it's the exact same finger motions on C, F, and G when we do that. So that's going to be an easy thing for you guys to do, to get that in all keys. I'm sorry, to get it on those 3 chords. And then you're always a fingering or 2 away from being able to play an idea in all keys. And of course, we know this, but for this one, you're C here, but when you go up to D flat, you have to hammer on your minor third to major third. So it's just slightly different, and we go over this all the time, as you know, in our academies. If anybody, as many times as we've gone over it, you still need some help, I want to help you figure that out. The other thing is related to timing. You can always play something slow and straight. If you're having trouble getting your blues feel and it's just not working out, there are ways to get there. One of the ways to get there is to play it slow and straight. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and you can go even slower. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And so we talk about ways to break things down. I do have a classical background as well, and that was one of the things I learned when I started thinking about jazz. Is I think you can get things when you start to break it down and think almost like a grid or mathematical approach to how you do this. The other thing is, when it comes to your feel in music, if you're trying to 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 or something like this, you can actually think in triplets: 1 and then 2 and then 3 and then 4 and then 1 and then 2 and then 3 and then 4, and that is what actually gets you your feel. Okay, now let's keep going down. Let's turn on the track and demonstrate what I just was teaching you about variations on one idea. This comes from the short that we did today. So even though we were doing solo piano, I can just sit here for a minute. When I go to the F chord, I need to be on that E flat. Top down. Now let's try that Ray Charles-ish. Let me stop this just for a second. Isn't that fun to know that even though there are these jazz changes going on and it's not exactly one you know, you're on the 1 chord for a long time, then the 4 chord, and it's actually moving pretty fast. But just like when you play a jazz blues, you can play a C blues scale. The same thing works when you play a jazz blues, because if I'm here and I'm playing that's all notes from the 1st chord. When I go to the F chord, I need that flat 7, so I do a C minor, but that gives me a flat 7 and a 9 from an F scale. And then even when I do like my D minor, you know, that's like a G suspended chord, and I go 1. That's like an A7 with a flat 9. That's like a D minor 9. And that's a G7 with all, you know, a sharp 9. So all of these can be explained as to why it works. Yes, there's a little bit of tension as you're playing like one idea C over the entire blues, but if you make some simple adjustments, like when you get to the F chord, you can play the E flat. And it is true that with these minor third to major third licks, you can go to the next chord like F and play an F chord whenever you get there. And you just have to be careful to not overdo that. But let me give you an example there. If I go, see, it worked there. Watch when I get to the F. Right here. But I ultimately will be thinking, as I play through a C jazz blues, I'm thinking C blues scale, right? That's just a really important tip. Okay, let's do a few more of these. It is 8:24. We have 10 minutes. We're going to get a lot done in the next 10 minutes. All right, let me check the chat just to see how everybody's doing. Rick's got it. 1, 2, 3, 5. How is everybody doing? We have 10 people watching, and I think this is awesome. All right, a couple of reminders. You have on page 2, you have this idea of your flat 7. One of the best ways to get your bluesy feel going, and as an ear training, muscle memory, all of that. If I go da 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 da, I'm coming down the C7 scale, and I can roll up to that third, or I can go to a minor third if I want for when I get to the F7. That sounds good as well. That's a really good thing to practice. The other one is we have, we already said you have your A blues scale, right? That's measure 24, but you also have this. Now we're unlocking some crazy secrets right here. Not really secrets, but like, this is the key right here. So you had this idea, da 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 da. Notice that I'm on a C triad right here. And especially from a classical player or a beginning student, everybody kind of gets to where you know the C triad. If I use my middle finger, I go 3, 5, 4, 2, 3, 1. I'm doing what we call an enclosure, surrounding a target note, half step above and below, and I arrive at my target note, which is E. Now, that is important because now you're getting into some jazzy ideas, and this number, measure 24, does this. Like, almost like a do nothing till you hear from me, do nothing till you hear from me. And I go down to the root. And the reason this is important, because imagine if you take this one idea, and then I visualize this triad. What about when I go to F? Visualize the triad, middle finger, back to C, right? And so you could go around the whole keyboard and go to different triads and practice this 3, 5, 4, 2, 3, 1, and you're surrounding those target notes, which are the thirds. That's the third of C. Okay, that's just a fun sound to get into your playing. Imagine if you just turned on your track and you said, I'm going to work on some thirds. And I did. The first thing is C major, and I'll go to the third. I'll go. Now I'm going to go on the F, I'm going to go to that flat 7 of F, right? Now watch on F triad. F sharp, now watch again. Of G. Now, And all I did is I went da 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 bum ba da 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 da. I went up to that Cruella de Vil kind of this idea of the first 4 notes of the A blues scale, and I just had to do it. Sometimes you have to break the rules, right? Ba da 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 da. I did the same thing on F. And there I was thinking just that little bluesy. I wanted to get to that bluesy sound. And remember, once you're there, you can use all your little tricks that we've already gone over today, the top half of the blues scale. All right, I'll turn on the track again and demonstrate what I just did because I think it's kind of important. We're going to go. And let a little time go by. Even right there, I could go ba ba da 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 up to that flat 7. Remember how we just said you could go dee da 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 da. So just then I went. Just minor third to major third fun there. All right, let's shift down. We have 6 more minutes to go this morning. Hang in there, everyone. As you keep going down this PDF, it just gets more fun and more fun and more fun. All right, now you have this idea of this minor third to major third chromatically up to the 5th. That's a fun C blues pattern. And for my speedy finger people, you might want to double it if you want to, and just get used to doing that. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. The next one is your C6 lick. C, minor third to major third. Now, you talk about muscle memory, about working the hands, working the fingers to get that octave, right? You know that I love for you guys to play your octave and work on your blues scale or first few notes. Something really neat happens when you start playing things in octaves. I first learned that from my classical studies, actually, and did some etudes with octaves. But when you go up and you play, right, you get to spacing that octave, and then you learn how to play your octaves. It's a really fun thing to get under your fingers. All right, let's turn on the track and play that one idea right there. What's up, Marla? Awesome. Marla's sneaking in for the last 6 minutes. Good to see you, Marla, our resident superstar at iMusicAcademy. Always playing and gigging and going for it. She's in some really awesome ensembles. All right. Hey, everybody say goodbye to Rick. He's got to go work out. He's got to get to the gym. All right, Rick, good to see you, man, as always. All right, so Marla's taking over for you, Rick. No worries. Okay. Let's turn on the track and do this really quickly. Thinking about your C6 lick. Let's do that again. That's not a bad one to do. So get your C6 lick where you're doing minor third to major third, and we'll go. And then we'll go. So go back and forth between the flat 7 and the flat third. So I'm thinking here blues scale notes, but using the octave. That's not a bad thing to do. Let's just improvise with that idea. 1, 2. Notice what I'm doing in my left hand. Sometimes I do that where I'm going to play the same rhythm, like. could go the F if you wanted to, but now let's put the blues lick of 1. All right, let me stop that really quickly. Now that was something that I just did for fun, of going down and up with this idea of C6 lick and maybe go up the octave and get used to that sound. What a fun thing to do, to mess around with that. Okay, we're gonna do one more idea, and then I'll let you guys have some practice time on your own of going through these ideas. Marla, you're gonna want to go back and watch the simple tips from the course and make sure that you have the course and you have access to the folder. If not, email me directly, Marla, and you can click up in the chat just for your access to make sure that you're subscribed to the major folder that has everything in there. Okay, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to do one more. This is an easy one. This is our Ray Charles ideas. Let me pull up the book. I have like 2 minutes to get this one to you. Okay, so we know that from what I'd say, it actually starts on the 5th, and we get used to this idea of 1, 2, 2, 4, 5, and you get used to sliding down with your 3rd finger. That was something I had to get used to as a classical player back in the day. And once I did, I'm like, oh, now I understand why people use fingers and slide down. Let's actually work on the 3rd. You can also do this same thing on the 3rd. So it's not that. This is the idea of starting on the 3rd. So you want to use 1, 2, 2, 4, 5. And just get used to getting to that 3rd with that 1, 2, 2, 4, 5. And then you take your 3rd finger and you come down just like that. Takes a little bit to get, but once you get it, you will always have it and you will love to play it. So just right hand only, I could go. Again. Maybe down here. A blues scale, right? And just practice that sliding down from that the flat 3rd down to the 2nd note. You could do it on F. Again, right hand only. See, I'm just practicing over and over. Same thing on F. All right, now as we wind this lesson up, here's what you need to know. Is so far this morning we've done some really fun licks. We've done the C6 lick. All of these are in this course. We've done the example number 1 and turned it around several different ways. We just did Ray Charles and we did the A blues scale. So even with those ideas right there, and we also did, of course, your target notes, right? But just from knowing those and doing those, you can have a lot of fun in this area right here of the piano, just over and over. And I was demonstrating that. 1, 2, and 3. So I'm here. 2, and 3, and 4. And 3, and 4. All right, that's enough. I don't want to go over my time too much with you guys. All right, guys, you have about 40 seconds to say goodbye to each other for today, and I will see all of you tomorrow in Chord Academy, those of you who are in Chord Academy, and then, of course, on Thursday, we're going to have a really fun lesson for All Access again. You have 40 seconds to say goodbye to each other, and I'll see all of you in the next video. So good to see you, and I get to say goodbye to everyone for today as well. Good to see you, Dad. First on this morning, Bill. Bill's been really on it lately. Well, actually, for a long time now. Bill, amazing. And I love the fact that you keep practicing these very important basics as well. T-Man, Dave P, up and early. Awesome, Dave. Very proud of you as well. Vicky, always proud of you. You guys are amazing. Hugh, good to see you. The bookends of iMusic Academy, always on at the beginning, middle, and the end. Rick, of course, always working out and our awesome encourager. Good to see you, Rick. Vicky, Dave. Man, tons of members on this morning. Marla checking in for the last 6 minutes, which is probably more like 9 minutes. Awesome to see you. I think that's everybody. All right, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Keep it up. Have a great day.